Welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a social nonprofit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. In Albania, it is done in collaboration with Epoca University. Hello there, my name is Regina, and I'd like to welcome everyone who will join this session. Today, our guest is Besa, the manager of Golden Taste Restaurant, which is placed in the capital of Albania. Hello, Besa, how are you doing?
Hello, fine. How are you?
Thank you, I'm fine too. So I can't wait to get to the discussion about the pandemic. Let us find out a bit more about your business. Can you introduce us?
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this interview. I am the manager of a family business. The business is owned by my uncle. It is a halal restaurant placed in the center of Albania. It is a building that is owned from the Muslim community center of Albania. And therefore, it was in our contractual agreement. This building was meant to be used only as a halal restaurant. It was no limitation from the beginning. We have been operating as a restaurant for 2 years. Our restaurant as well offers the coffee service, the bar service. As a halal restaurant, it does not serve alcohol. And this was a huge limitation from the start regarding restaurant revenue, since, as we all know, a considerable amount from the revenue of restaurant is due to alcoholic beverages. My business has 6 employees for the moment being. We had to make some cut downs during the lockdowns in order to afford the costs, because as I mentioned, since it is in the center of the city, the rental costs are very high. My is around 500 meters square. Most of the area is indoors, which was another huge limitation during the coronavirus period. So I guess this is
about your clients,
sure. Our main scope being a halal restaurant was to have clients from the Muslim community, clients who had Muslims who had, let's say, some kind of sensitivity towards halal food and who only eat halal food. But after operating for a while, we found out that most of our customers are from the locality nearby. There are either businesses that operate in the proximity and so on. So our main customers are from the offices nearby, which are the Agency of Tax Recollections or the Agency of National Education Development, so on and so forth. These were unexpected customers that they don't just come for a coffee, but they're they consume their business time lunch in our restaurant.
Yes, I understand. So coming to the pandemic, and I mean it was a painful period for all small businesses out there, and not only that. Now let me ask you about your business lockdown experience. What did you do on the business front during the lockdown?
So Albania was always impacted a lot from Europe and especially Italy. The way that the lockdown came to Albania was after some cases that were presumably came from Italy. And when we were seeing the lockdown in Italy, we kind of had this expectation that it was about to come at any moment. All the businesses had some kind of idea that it will come, and it came with some pre-measures like the distance between the tables, the waiters had to wear masks, so on and so forth. The similar procedures were applied through all the Europe, but the moment that the lockdown was established was by the mid-March, and it was unexpected. We didn't have like some time to adjust ourselves.
Yes.
Exactly. And at the moment that the lockdown happened, we had to make immediate cuts to our employees to give them options if they had to look for somewhere else. It was very hard to fire employees at such a hard time, but not doing so would mean to fail as a business. Like even employees had this understanding that it is not, we were a very new business and we had our struggles pre-lockdown. Lockdown make everything much harder.
Yeah.
During the lockdown period, basically the government provided the workers with something that was called the war pay, since it was war to coronavirus and we had to stay home. Uh, but people who were double employed or who appeared to work somewhere else, they could not profit. And for example, waitresses who would work in 2 shifts in 2 different places, they wouldn't profit from this benefit. During the lockdown, we could not find other options to operate. Here, the delivery process is through apps, which are not as well developed as apps in other countries in Europe and worldwide. They are pretty much new, and they are mainly being used for fast foods like pizza and fast food for like Greek souvlaki and so on. So our food, the food that we provide to our customers is mainly cooked, and putting it as a delivery option would make it pretty much expensive, and it is not the right service for our kind of food. The food would go like being waited in the worst traffic that Tirana has seen in the last years, and yes.
I see.
So this was not a good solution for us. And unlike in other countries like France that we know of, we did not have this option of having clients to come and take the meal. And as I mentioned, most of our clients were people who are working. And during lockdown, most of these people were either working from home or not working at all.
I understand. So you said before that you were mainly, before lockdown, you were mainly serving like restaurants menu. Then you did this
Yes.
like strategy that you saw that you had to change something. So you converted your menu a bit into Bain Marie menu. So people
Yes.
come and eat fresh food, like warm food directly.
Exactly. So we did this, we tried to adapt, and like since most of our clients come for their business lunch, we created this business lunch menu where people can come and see the food that they want to pick. And they get a much faster serving. We have like 4 to 5 dishes. This was not done before. This was just after lockdown strategy. They come, they see the food that they like, and in this way, they even spend less time in restaurant if they have this sensibility to not stay too much in public places. They get the fresh food that they used to eat as always. And it is a win-win situation pretty much for everyone.
Yes, I understand. What about the cost? Have you had any cost regarding this issue? I mean, from the sanitizing stuff and sanitizing uh, cleaning supplies, since we have to be more cautious about this part, or maybe about there are clients now who are doubting whether to drink in a glass, in a maybe not a plastic glass. They would like to drink in plastic stuff, so they think it is cleaner for them or safer for them to eat from. Has this happened into your restaurant?
It was an extra cost, of course. It added some kind of a cost, but it was kind of negligible because when the lockdown happened, the number of customers went down drastically. Like people were very scared to come to a restaurant, especially at the first immediately after the lockdown. They were very hesitant to come in. Therefore, like the amount of money that we spent for sanitizers or for plastic glasses was pretty much negligible. But even most of the clients, they don't have this sensibility like to drink their macchiato from their plastic glass and so on and so forth. So I would say that was negligible. The real difficulty here was the lack of them. That was what caused the business issues, like not being able to handle the bills and not being able to handle the wages. The costs due to lockdown were not that big in our case.
I understand. What about regarding the events? You said you were a halal food restaurant, so it means that
Yes.
for the month of Ramadan, it means that you organize plenty of events. You were full. Can you tell us about that? How did you?
Sure. So during the Ramadan month, it is the only month that we make up for some other months where are overbooked, and we have to always take tables and chairs from other places like rentals and so on in order to handle the amount of people that are in our restaurant. And during this Ramadan, it was a lockdown, and it wasn't a full lockdown, but we had the time limitation until 8. And most of the people who would come for Ramadan, they would not come due to time limitation, since you would have to spend only 30 minutes in Ramadan. And usually a Ramadan dinner, it goes 4 to 5 hours, because people go more for like talking and meeting old friends and family
Another
and so on.
meeting, I see. Yes.
Yes, but our business, like there are other businesses who chose informal ways of like spending up to 4 or 5, like closing the windows and so on and so forth. But we did not do that, and it really impacted us quite negative.
I understand. Now it has been like almost 8, 9 months that the lockdown has been lifted. How is your business going now? Are there any improvements?
So after the lockdown period, I'm going to divide it into 3 parts. So immediately after the lockdown, it was a part that you could serve on the outside, if you have outdoors environments for your coffee place. And the amount of tables that I have usually in my outdoors, it's around 8. I had to increase the number to 12, 15 sometimes if needed. But still, and yet we had to respect the 2 meters distance from table to table. At the initiating of this opening of lockdown, the number of customers was quite low. I tried to advertise. We were trying to make improvements in advertising our new business lunch with Banya Mari. So during this time, I can say it was quite bad. Like we could not afford our rent even. We had very huge difficulties with paying our employees, so on and so forth. At the second stage, if I can say, it's the winter started to come, and it was a need to get indoors. And even the government was aware that if these measures were going to continue, like they would not be able to afford losing so many businesses in this industry. So at the second stage, where people started to get indoors, it was kind of an improvement. More tables we were able to serve in more tables, so on and so forth. And the third stage, which is quite recently, is after the virus news came out and the virus was starting to be done in certain countries in Europe. This gave people the idea that finally we have an antivirus, and this vaccination will provide us some degree of safety. So there is a solution, and we can go to the restaurant. And in that week, it was visible the amount of customers coming, and there was no any longer that hesitation that, oh, we cannot go to a restaurant, it is a public place and we are kind of threatened. So that was a game changer in our case.
I see. So it changed for good, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
What about your competitors? Do you have an idea what are the other restaurants or kind of small businesses doing? How are they handling the situation?
So our competitors, we can say restaurants who are focused on halal meat, and the general restaurants nearby. General restaurants which are nearby, all of them are focused on business lunch. Most of them are focused on business lunch. And based on the business activity nearby, they are impacted. A certain restaurant who is quite close to ours, they have buildings, like business center buildings close by to them. It was a period that during, even after lockdown, most of the people were working from home. And since they were working from home, they would not go to a restaurant, and the number of consumers quietly dropped. And it is as well a difference between clients just coming to eat and clients who are again clients, but they don't come as often to eat, or they choose cheaper dishes, or they just come for coffee to spend their business lunch and they take their food from home. So I can see, like, from my regular clients that come every day, they still come every day, but I see them like if they would take everyday steak, they are not going to take the steak every day. They are going to come 2 times per week and take chicken or a much cheaper meal. So this is an indication that everyone is being more cautious with their spending, and even the clients who are taking a regular wage working for national federal agencies, they still have this idea in their mind that we don't know how the economy is going, we don't know if our jobs are sure. So we need to know exactly what is getting out from our pockets, and we need to manage our economy better.
I see. So to end up fast, what are the three things that you need help with? The three important things.
So this comes basically from my personal experience and from talking with other businesses in my proximity and my clients and people I know. The first thing that I would say is that businesses had real trouble paying their workers, and especially the state could decrease the amount or like try to support businesses with the amount of social payments that need to be made monthly for each worker. Beside this would be, and as a side note, many of the other restaurants, they pay their clients in cash. They do not seem as workers. I have never done it. My business will never do it. We are very clean with the state and the policies, but this also enforces that many people are not getting their health care and social care. So it would be a great support from government if they would support for social care at least. The second point that I would mention is the lockdown war payment. This is it is a very simple translation, probably a wrong one, that the Prime Minister in Albania did. It was this idea that the workers are going to be paid some money from the government during this lockdown season. This payment was done like my employees received this payment from the government, but after the lockdown, even though the restaurants could be open, the business was impacted. We were serving very few tables, and the government should have considered this factor that like the businesses are going through a lockdown, we still have to pay our employees their full wages, even though we're not doing business as we used to. So some kind of support similar to this during the initial stages of the after lockdown would be very helpful, in my opinion. And the third one, this comes from a collective ideas of many business owners, is that all the businesses need some kind of relief from taxes, at least for a period of 1 year during the lockdown, till they come back to the initial stages, till the business goes on the normal flow, and we do not have these impacts from coronavirus, either it be health-wise or business-wise.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Besa. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Feel free to contact Besa using links in the description below. I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. In the coming weeks, we are going to share more insights with you. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.